Hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So let's jump on into a collective message. We shall see what we've got. We start with the Page of Cups. We have a Nine of Cups. This Page of Cups is an interesting one because we have a mermaid sitting here, and she has two faces, and one of her faces looks forward into the future, and one looks back at this little skeleton mask that's kind of floating here beside her. So we can definitely see that there's either contemplation. Hi, guys. Nikki, oh, so good to see you. Neptune, baby. Nikki, how's your darling doing? To see this energy of happiness for our character, to see this vibe of you notice that she's got this little key where her chest and kind of like solar plexus, heart, everything good is located, and she's like opening it up, and all these butterflies are flying out. This is great happiness. So this is someone who perhaps, and we're going to keep saying she just because of the way the cards look from the beginning here, but of course this could be a masculine as well. But we have somebody who is, aware of both their past and their present, maybe has made peace with it. Normally, that Page of Cups is a spark of like an emotional offer, or it can be an apology. And I'm wondering if this is one of those moments where someone has learned to tell them their own selves, like, hey, I'm sorry that we went through some tough stuff. Things have worked out really well, and we went through some tough stuff, but look at where we are today. So much happier. Nikki, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Hi, everybody. So glad to see you. What great news. So for our character here, it looks like some great news too. Granted, this is a tough card, okay? It's tough partially because my baby ate it when he was a pup. This is the Hierophant. And it always has kind of like an intense vibe to it. I don't love this card. Normally, the Hierophant's a great card. This one always carries with it some pretty intense oppression vibe to it. But we have this feminine, and she actually has two faces behind her as well. So she's a three-faced individual. And the fact that she stands here kind of like either blocking the way, guarding the way, I could interpret this, since these other two cards are great, in a really awesome way, where I could say, it seems like we have a story of somebody who has learned to like start over, and they are opening up the best chapter of their life, and they're kind of like giving themselves this pep talk, and they're saying, you know what, I have learned how to go ahead and stand up for what I believe in, what my convictions are at different points in time. Sometimes maybe I ended up acquiescing to things that I didn't really want to, and I didn't know how to stand up for myself, but now I do. And now I firmly stand and I block stuff that I don't want. So I could look at it that way, where we have this character who says, I will always stay connected to my higher self, and I will be just a little bit, I don't get pushed around anymore. I listen to my instinct. I think this is a great practice because she's good at working with kind of we'll go ahead and say, how once in a while you encounter something, you're like, oh my God, I want that so much. Let's say it's like, oh, I want to buy this house, rent this car, work for this company. But there's this little something in the back of your mind that goes, I don't trust this. I mean, I know it looks good, but there's just something. Or maybe you want to, put your money into something, but you're like, I don't really know. Do I really think that this is a real thing, or is this too good to be true? And I think she's good at saying, I listen to the murky subconscious, and I have my checklist. If I'm going to say yes, I have to have a confident yes in body, mind, and soul. I have to really believe in something to be able to move forward with it. And if there's a little voice in the back of my mind that says, alarm bell, soft alarm bell, I listen to that. I only go forward if it's 100% yes. My spirit wants it, my soul wants it, my heart wants it, my mind wants it, I logically want it. I feel good about this. And I think that has been the big turn for her life. That's why she's happier now. You notice that she's unlocked, right there in the solar plexus and kind of like the gut and the heart. That seems to be the trick to how she's getting what she wants in life now. And I would say that was a big lesson from the past for her. It's not obscuring the small voice inside of us that warns us, like, I don't know that I really trust something. I think she listens to that now, and it's guiding her well. I think it just makes her able to make more confident choices on things that she says 100% yes on, instead of continuously being, feeling like she has to say yes to be polite, or has to go ahead and go with things, even when she doesn't feel good about them. This is somebody who's, I think, more in charge of their life than they've ever been, and in charge of their choices and their decision making. This is good because, lo and behold, we have a King of Cups. Now, this King of Cups, I know he's got a moon head, and a crescent moon at that. This could come across as a bit of a lonely individual. This could also come across as somebody that she barely knows. Yet they come across as stable, emotionally available, but she's only scratched the surface. I feel like this is the story of possibly a feminine who is meeting maybe a masculine. And granted, we have the advantage of seeing this is a king upright. This is an amazing person. But lots of amazing people, just like lots of amazing houses, they might not look like much from the outside, then you walk inside and you're like, oh my God, this is beautiful. The whatever, the polish, the finish, the architecture indoors is so wonderful, but the outside could be very non-assuming. And that's not to say he's not attractive or something. It's just, you wouldn't know the depth of his emotions. You wouldn't know he's a true king, because he may not be bold and swaggery and advertising himself and flashy. And so I think she's met somebody that she's barely scratched the surface with. And I think that's really good, though. We have the Fool. She's asking herself, would I take the leap to get to know this person better? And it's funny how we have the crescent moon to the full moon. She's kind of saying, I don't know anything about this person, but for whatever reason, when I ask my head, my heart, my soul, my gut, my logic, do I want to give this a whirl? It seems like her answer is yes. Seems like, here's the thing, when you learn how to never wager more than you can afford to lose, getting to know somebody is one thing. Saying, I don't know them, but I think I'll just go ahead and let them fully into my life, give them my house key, fall in love with them. I don't even know their middle name. I don't know where their family. I don't know anything about them. That's where you wager too much to lose. Whereas if you're saying, oh, I'm going to get to know somebody, that, to me, like, we get to know people every single day, and we don't think of it a high stakes game. We don't instantly meet, a random person at the bus stop while waiting for the bus, and we go, hey, I'm so-and-so, here's the key to my house. Instead, we just have casual conversation. We get to know somebody little by little, maybe over the course of months, until we finally maybe even kind of become friends with them. And then maybe over the course of some more months, maybe we develop, deeper connections. So getting to know somebody doesn't have to be a high stakes game. And I think this is maybe one of the big turnarounds for her also, is that's what she's learned. I can take a leap and get to know somebody without making it a high stakes game. Because in truth, I'm very acutely aware of how little I know about them. But would I want to talk to them? Sure. Why not? You know what? I feel like my answer is yes. I'd like to get to know the mysteries of who they are. Doesn't mean she's putting her heart out there and going to just be like, here we go. They get my house key on, in the first 15 minutes of me meeting them. So I kind of think this is just, see, Knight of Wands. She's aware. Oh God, what's that song? Always have to be aware of the danger. It's a man who sings it. This drives me nuts. Anyway, sorry, I can't think of the song right now. But it's singing about how, like, a beautiful woman always has to be aware of the danger. There could be people that don't have great intentions for her, and that's true for everybody. This feels like she knows they could be charming or they could be a player. Sometimes really, really charming people are exactly though what they seem to be, and they are kings and they are wonderful. And the reason they treat you nice is not because they're running a game and they're pulling a line and they're so suave with their pickup lines. It's because it's actually who they are. But she goes, I don't know. Is he a knight in shining armor, or is he a pretend knight standing behind some shining armor and playing a role? I don't know. I love this card because it gives us like a very theatrical, we see the knight's armor, but is he standing behind it or is he really in it? It could go either way. So she's She's not expecting somebody that she's just met to tick all her boxes, fulfill all her needs, or be as great as what they seem to be at first, but she's willing to get to know this person. And again, it's just because of how she's changed her own like mindset. I'm kind of wondering if this Nine of Pentacles. I was going to say, I'm kind of wondering if this is not a divine feminine who's like maybe been duped before, maybe had, negative relationships before, met people that she trusted maybe a little too fast. They turned out to be absolutely people she should not have trusted. And we see her like evolving and growing, but not becoming fearful, instead becoming more empowered. Like, I can get to know somebody who seems awesome, but I can do it slow, and I maintain my independence, my autonomy. I'm excited to, talk to somebody, but I choose who I talk to and how much I let them into my life. And as long as I maintain my personal power, she is not going to be giving her heart to this person when she doesn't know them yet. But she's also not going to shove away potential great people that she might really want to get to know. And she's not going to misjudge them or decide they're too awesome too fast, nor decide that, oh, they're just probably somebody I don't trust because I can't trust anybody. I love the fact that she's not somebody who has disempowered herself. She instead has completely empowered herself to say, look, I got no fears. I don't have to say yes to anything I don't want to, but why would I not meet other people? I got good instincts. I listen to what I believe is true. I listen to what people have to say. I check it against their actions. I bit by bit, maybe on my terms, let somebody into my life a little bit, but I don't ever have to say yes to anything, and I can pull the plug anytime I want. So it doesn't matter if this is same-sex couple, reverse gender roles, but it is definitely somebody who basically has learned to date. That's the simplest way I would say this. She has learned to date. Can we just look at him? Because he comes across as really great. Queen of Cups in the reverse. Well, he seems to have had great experience with, he may have been married and divorced, and he may have been married to somebody that was an absolute, like, he got totally duped. This is a King of Cups upright who was with a Queen of Cups, but in the reverse. So a karmic, somebody who looked so great, somebody who probably played him like a fiddle, somebody who pretended to have all the attributes that he wanted in a partner, who was in fact just a chameleon, wearing the persona at first of being, see, I'm your perfect match. I'm a Queen of Cups to your King of Cups. And then it's like, oh man, did I fool you? Pulled the wool right over your eyes. Actually, now I know how to puppet you. I take everything that I know you are, pretend I'm just like you, and then I can manipulate the hell out of you. That also represents he has been down that road. He has been played before. And let's hope he's not still with a karmic, though. Let me just look and see. Knight of Swords, Queen of Swords. No, he busted free of that at some point in time, and he learned a really harsh lesson. I'm wondering if this is a situation where this could have been fairly fresh or fairly recent that he busted free. I mean, because this is impulsive. This is, I am definitely not going to be played like this. So sometimes like when the gig is up, right? When you see what somebody really is, there's only one action to take, and that is to exit as swiftly as possible. And that is what it looks like he did. It's like, it's great because he is a King of Cups upright. So he stays warm, open-hearted, intelligent. We can now see probably why he's got the crescent moon head, why he too is just maybe a little bit guarded. Even here, he's like, he's holding his hands over his heart just a little bit. I guess, sorry, heart. My heart's on the right side. All the rest of y'all, you got it on the left, but Kate's heart's on the right, apparently. But he's holding and like protecting his heart a little bit. Like, I'm not just going to show this. No, you don't just have access to it. Same way, like, I'm not just going to give you the key to my house. But he very swiftly busted free of whatever that really karmic. And I do think he could have been married, and this could have been a very swift divorce. And I feel like this is like going to the, through the Justice Department and being like, can we take the sword of truth, and can we just completely sever this connection to the person that I was actually married to? Or maybe he was about to marry, because this is somebody who's dressed in a wedding outfit. He may have called off a wedding once he understood what he was dealing with, because this is very sudden. And I wouldn't necessarily look at a Queen of Swords as, like the sword of truth, that it's not an Ace of Swords, right? It's a Queen of Swords. But there's something here that, to me, for him to make a split like this, and then we see somebody dressed, ready for a wedding. I mean, it kind of looks like he just cut it off. This could have been weeks before a wedding or something. He just was done. Or it was already an engagement that he called off. And I'm wondering if the way it was called off was pretty, pretty abrupt, like he left, or he, left a letter and it was, detailed out in like legal terms or something. This was almost like he had a proxy or somebody else that said, so he actually is gone. He's severed the connection, and I guess I was supposed to drop this off to you or give you this letter. I don't think this is him being cowardly at all. I think this is him like taking a stand. But he definitely left a situation behind, like 100% done. I see what I'm dealing with here. I'm not going to be played like this. Ooh, 8 of Swords. His head was messed up for a bit, because although he looks calm, cool, collected on the outside, we've got that inner version as well. And there's that, of course that's disappointing. It always sucks. It always hurts. It's always a head trip when you realize somebody was, completely manipulating. It's really hard when, you tried to give your trust, and everybody out there on this earth is not going to play you for a fool like that. But it's still, you get stuck for a little bit, probably. Wondering what the hell was that nightmare, and how the hell did I fall for that? And, even if he's like, oh, on the surface, I'm fine. I'm completely content. I'm just glad I didn't marry the wrong person, or I'm glad I severed the connections with the wrong person. But I think inside, I think emotionally, he did get stuck for a bit. And possibly in the darker thoughts, the frustration, just like the overall blech feeling, it's yucky to have to, be played like that, especially if you wouldn't have done that to somebody else, but they did that to you. And with, I'm thinking that whoever he dealt with, man, she must have really been good at the chameleon aspect of this, because he really thought she was a Queen of Cups. And instead it was like the exact reverse of that. I just know how to mime you, parrot you, everything that I see that you are, I'll pretend I'm that too. Draw you in, make you feel safe and comfortable with me. And then I also know exactly what your expectations are. And then I can just do whatever I want behind your back, and I'll show you this sweet, innocent face on the surface. So I definitely feel like he got badly played. And that did stick with him for a bit. But we have these two ships that haven't yet crossed paths. And I wonder if the biggest thing for him where he got stuck is like, God, I wasted time with somebody that wasn't who they seemed to be. And like, how long is it going to be before I'm ready to meet somebody new? That everybody, I think what we really miss out on when we get played is that somebody took our time. You wasted my time playing your games. If you had just come forward and said, hi, I'd really like you to give me money and a nice life, I can pretend to treat you good, but are you okay with that? Then we could be like, well, all right, sure, I guess I'll buy into the fantasy. Or we could say, no, thanks. I'm looking for somebody who's not going to pretend to be nice, but who is nice. But unfortunately, it's not usually what tricksters do, right? It's much more elaborate, and it takes a long time to unravel the games and free ourselves from it, and then repair our hearts from the mind F that is what we went through. And that's where it's like, man, what a bummer. I lost a bunch of time. Maybe this is only 8 months, but maybe this was 8 years for him. But I can see that, he still was like, yeah, but I'm not going to let it taint me. But inside, he definitely had some stuff that he had to carry and had to, kind of like purge, I think. 3 of Pentacles in the Sun. Well, things are getting a hell of a lot better for him. And it may be because he met, let's go back to our first character, our feminine. I'm guessing she went through something not too different than the details that we've just talked about with him. We didn't really see what she went through. We saw how she's repaired herself, the trust she now has in herself. We see her as the 9 of Cups, the 9 of Pentacles. That's a single, independent individual who stands up for themselves, who is not unkind, but is also not overly trusting, will not be played nor play anybody else. And I'm wondering if meeting her, and they could have met in like a business connection or something, he just knows he met the real her. Like both of these characters, I know they don't have clothes on, but they're just mannequins, so I'm not going to bother to cover them up because there's nothing inappropriate. I mean, I don't think nudity is inappropriate, period, but I don't run YouTube, so I have to be super, respectful. But these are mannequins, so. But there was a vulnerability, like I feel like I met a real person. I saw the real her. Yeah, I would imagine that. I imagine she doesn't hide too much. She doesn't hide if she doesn't like somebody. She probably doesn't hide if she doesn't trust somebody. She's not a people pleaser. She's just who she is. If she doesn't feel safe with somebody, she probably steps away and goes, no thanks. No, I'm not interested. And if somebody keeps coming at her, she might be like, I said, I'm not the fuck interested. Like I could see her like having a very different, you can put a hackle up when you need to make your point if someone doesn't respect you the first time you say it. I could see her having her way because this is a very stern card. And although I said, this is a heavy card, this Hierophant, it's good sometimes to stand there and show your backbone. You can be nice, you can be sweet, and then you can also show, like, I told you when to step off. And if I said that, I probably meant that. Going from nice to solid steel, that's a big contrast. That's somebody who you know where somebody's boundaries are. I think he can see that in her. I think he's seen the softer side, the nicer side, but also like maybe they did business together because you know how it can be super pleasant doing business, but also a negotiation is a negotiation. It's straightforward. You've got to ask for what you want. You've got to say, well, I can't do this. I don't have the money for that. So this is what I'm looking for. What do you have in that price range? Okay, no, that's too rich for my blood. I can't do it. Or, well, that would work, but could we do this, this, and this and add that into the package? Like negotiating in a straightforward manner for what's fair. They may have done something like that. Like I could see them, maybe she bought a car, maybe he, did some service for her, whatever it might be. It seems like they had an exchange without knowing each other very well, but in a way that required them to both, you got to trust somebody to a certain extent in business, right? But again, you're wagering maybe some money or you're wagering a contract, which, if one party or the other doesn't hold up their side of it, well, there can be legal consequences. But it feels like there's that crescent moon again. They shared a moment where it's like, I don't know you yet, but I'd like to see if we can come to terms on something. And I'm feeling like he negotiated well with her, interacted well with her, and realized for someone that I don't know, I think I'm meeting a real straightforward person. Both of them have the butterfly wings on. He may have done more of the talking on this. This is the other reason I keep thinking this was like communication, not like dating, but like something where I don't know who you are, but I know at a baseline level, I think I met a real person. I think I met the real you. Now, he may have had the inkling right out of the gate, I'm going to marry her. He may have had that flash in his mind. And I don't think it's because he falls in love with people so easy. Like we've seen his backstory. We see that he actually isn't somebody who lays his heart on the table or opens up too swiftly either. But having a flash of understanding in your own mind, it doesn't mean you have to say it out loud just because he already knew from day one that this is the person I'm marrying. I don't think he says that, but I definitely think that it does a lot to, I said it's like he's got to purge that disappointment here from that past connection that he had with a very false person. Well, the sun sheds light on shadows, even in those darkest crevices. I feel like meeting her was like light switch gone off. That internal wound that he maybe still carried is like gone because he just met a real person. And although he may have already had the flash that I'm going to marry her, I don't think he's saying it out loud to her, not at all. Because these two are like, I don't know you and I don't know you. We'll have to get to know each other first. But our first interaction says there's a baseline of cooperation with that Three of Pentacles. That's really quite lovely that, two people are aware. I don't know you yet, but I can see something that I know. I don't believe you're out to get me. I don't believe you're out to do me dirty. So really, really great message on that. Let's go actually, let's do the reverse and go to an oracle card. Normally I would start with an oracle. We have the card of harmony. Well, I guess it makes sense that I wanted to go with an oracle card, huh? These two have a sense of peace with each other. And I feel like, I picked a deck that's very murky, right? All the imagery is much darker. All of it is, well, it's a dreamscape deck. And and then we go and we get this vibrant. I'm hearing Bobby Darin's version, What a Difference a Day Makes. Only 24 hours brought the sun and the flowers where there used to be rain. This is what the soundtrack would be for this movie that we've just told the story of. We see all this brightness all of a sudden. There's that butterfly again. I think both people walk away from this interaction feeling like, I don't know why, but that was exciting. I met somebody. I think it dawns on both of them separately that was nice. I met somebody that I like. She has been in red. She remains in red. She may look great in red, or this could just represent, red is a color of, like I'm bold enough to lead forward in my own life. It's a leadership color. And even here, she's in red, although it's deep maroon here in that, subconscious energy, that hierophant, that connection to our higher self. She's always in red. And I think that that's interesting. I don't look at it as like red light, but rather, not like a stop sign, but rather the leadership energy. I think she is, and also bold, right? It's red is one of those most eye-catching colors in nature also. I feel like that's perfect. She stood out to him for a reason, and sure enough, he looks at her. She could be a Leo, by the way. But he looks at her with the sun's energy, which the sun definitely associated with, bold Leo energy, action-taking energy, forward motion type of energy. So we have a really lovely story, but the harmony between both of them, I think this is, I'm going to say all systems go, but it's not, because it's like, even though for him it is kind of like a love at first sight, that's not the wording I want to use. It's more like there's a foundational, like, maybe it's too soon to call it trust, but there's a foundational like understanding that this person is going to be really important. And I know I just met somebody that I believe I met the real them, the core of who they are. I just saw a piece of that. This isn't somebody who's going to do me dirty. This isn't somebody who's going to lie to me. This isn't somebody, and she's not going to just randomly welcome me into her life too fast either, because she's got expectations. This is good. This isn't two scared people trying love again. This is two individuals who are like, I'm happy to meet somebody who feels the same way I do. Let's build trust slowly. So although it is kind of a love at first sight, it is not at the same time. It's more, let's actually do this right. But man, there's an excitement here, and it feels really good for two people. I could see them, as much as it sounds like they're going to probably move slow into getting to know each other, I still think that this is going to be one of those where they knew from the very beginning, and they'll probably tell each other that someday. These two are going to make it. That's all I can say. I've never seen a storyline that has barely begun that I would say 100% like these two are going to make it. And I think it's going to be like a great relationship, the best kind, because it starts with two people that are knowledgeable. And although they may know what their instinct says, they still don't rush even that. They wait for proof that this works, but it's exciting nonetheless, and it's happy. Really good energy on that. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave this one here. Thank you so much for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Violet, you angel, thank you so much. You are so kind. Thank you for reminding me to mention. Hi, Patricia Bucator, Delinda, Annie S. Oh, sweetheart, I'm sorry you're having a tough day. I'm sending you so much positivity right now. Manzi Luthra, great to see you. EM, thank you, baby. Right back to you. By the way, guys, we will get back into zodiacs. I'm sorry, I had the chance to go spend time with my mommy yesterday, so I didn't get back until late. And so I am just now today we'll be able to get back to some zodiacs. So instead of just collective messages. You guys are so awesome. Thank you. Shout out to you in London. Patricia, hi, honey. San Juanita. Violet, you're adorable. You're collecting crowns. Chris, thanks for being here, hun. Slay Princess. Monkey Experiment. Great to see you. Thank you, Chris. And right back to you, hun. Cherry Coleman, awesome to see you. Hello, smile, please. Thanks for popping in. Hi, Mon. Terry A. Cassie Melanie. Oh, it is such a great news, Nikki O. I'm so happy to hear about your daughter. Hi, Nor A. Lindsay G. Vera Lestrange, awesome to see you. Hi, Ad. Or ADD. Great to see you, honey. Thank you for being here. Gabriella Ramondo. Ellen. Monkey Experiment. It's always so awesome to catch you, love. Maria. Hi, Lori. Oh, good. I'm glad you like it, Ellen. Catherine, how are you, hun? Knuckle up. Love your name. Nikki O, is your eldest daughter being a real assistance and support network for you? That is so awesome. Shout out to her as well. You raised some good kiddos. Goss C10P. Hey, hey. Goddess of the Moon. Great to see you. And hi, Lexus. Georgina Blackwell. Tammy Secord. Neptune Baby. And Nikki O, you were first in the house. All right, you guys. Keandra Moore. Hi, sweetheart. Hi, Jessica. Thank you guys again so much. And Stephanie, sorry, babe, I almost missed you there. I will see you guys again. We'll do a couple of zodiacs right now, and then I'll be back tonight and we'll do other ones, okay? Anisha Chatu, hi. All right, you guys, take care. I'll see you again soon. Bye for right now.